نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه وبعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربنا زدنا علما آمين يا رب العالمين. Alhamdulillah, welcome to the second session of Mulhatul I'rab, a beautiful uh, poem on Arabic grammar. Mulha, as I told you, that Mulhatul I'rab means the beauties of grammar, and uh, we learned about few of the details about what is it about, and we did the introduction to the poem, and then we did the intro for the poet Muhammad bin Qasim Ali al-Hariri Basri Rahimullah, and then we did the Muqaddimah, and we learned the first five abiyat of Mulhatul I'rab. So, inshallah, let's start with Babul Kalam. First, I'm going to read the text, and then, inshallah, we are going to start with our first Bab, that is Bab al Kalam. From Bismillah Rahman Rahim, from Muqaddimah al Nazim. أقول من بعد افتتاح القول بحمد ذي الطول شديد الهول فافضل السلام على النبي سيد الأنام وآله الأطهار خير آلي فافهم كلامي واستمع مقالي يا سائلي عن الكلام المنتزم حدا ونعوا وإلى قم ينقسم اسم هديت الرشد ما أقول فافهمه فهم من له معقول. باب كلام. حد الكلام ما أفاد المستمع له سعى زيد وأمر متبع ونوعه الذي عليه يبنى اسم وفعل ثم حرف معنى. باب الاسم. فالاسم ما يدخله من وإلى أو كان مجرورا بحتى وعلى مثاله زيد وخيل وغنم وذا وأنت والذي ومن وكم. So, Alhamdulillah, we did the Muqaddimah, and as you know that we did the translation and a few of the Arab of the words, and we understand that what the poet or the Muallif is trying to tell us, that how he has wrote this poem, and how he is going to tell us the um, definitions or the details of the parts of the speech, and how he's going to tell us the rules about them, and then he's sending the blessings on the listener or the questioner who is asking him the question. And we did a little Arab for all the bed or the shutter given here, like this is the mudaf and mudaf ilayh, and then we did little explanation of Zittol and Shadid al-Holi, and then we just like that we did few of the Arab for the other lines as well. So let's start with this. I was telling you about the Jumla Mutarida. That what is it? So Jumla Mutarida, as we explained that in the last bed that we did, the fifth one, Isma hudita rushta ma akulu fafhamhu fahm wallahu ma akulu. Isma hudita rushta. Hudita Rushda, I told you that it is Jumla Mutarida. And what is Jumla Mutarida? The extra sentence, or its dua, or some blessing that is added in the sentence, that is not part of the Arab, and it is not included in the Arab. Just like this was the part that was used in the bait. Isma Hudita Rushda. Hudita Rushda is, we can explain that, we can understand it like this, that Hadallahul Mu'min Rushda means Allah guide the Muslim on the rightly guide him on the right path. Or it can we know that this verb has two maf'ools here, so it can be changed into passive sound. This is the active sentence, and we can change it into passive one. It can be changed into hudi al mu'minul rushda. So this hudi al mu'minul rushda, this whole part is now changed into this hudi the rushda. So it is just like this, and we can understand Jumla Mutarida like from this hadith, like قال عمر رضي الله عنه سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. So this رضي الله عنه, this is Jumla Mutarida. قال عمر سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. So this رضي الله عنه is our Jumla Mutarida. So this is how this is done in the fifth line. Isma hudita rushta ma akulu. Then, inshallah, we will start with Bab al-Kalam, and I would suggest one can memorize about 10 to 20 bed or shutters, so as to get familiar with the flow, and just to practice how a matan can be memorized. So one can memorize till Bab, Harf, inshallah, and it will be a good practice, and we'll have a much strong grip on the Arabic text. And what we intend to achieve after completing this lesson is, of course, the rules, the qawaid. Um, and then how do we read this matan, and how can we understand its shara. So it will help us memorize the rules, and I would suggest that you should try to memorize few of its starting abiyat. So here, the first, after the mukaddima, the first bab, or the first chapter, is about the kalam. So here it is haddul kalam ma afad al mustami lahu sa'a zaidun wa amrun muttabi. ونوع الذي عليه يبنى اسم وفعل ثم حرف معنى. So here, this lahu is this means the example. These are the examples, as I already mentioned, that this matan, this mulhatul Arab, it doesn't have many examples in it, and if it has in usually in this mulha, the first shutter, the first line is usually the rule, and the second is the example. So in lot of the cases, not always, but the second. Like this, the first is the rule, or the sentence, or the definition about the topic, and then there in the second shutter there is the example given for that rule. Like this here, and these are the examples for the rule or the definition that is mentioned here. So we are starting with Bab al-Kalam, that the Haddul Kalami ma afad al Mustami, the definition of speech according to the listener, what he listen, or the scholars of Nahu, is that it should be a complete, reasonable sentence. Afad al Mustami. It ma afad al Mustami means Haddul Kalami, the definition, the tarif of the speech is according to the listener or the scholars, is that sentence that is understandable, that is reasonable, or that is understandable. So let's understand this. We we know that to learn any the size of Arabic, we have three types. To learn the sizes, we know that we can understand a word by three types of ilm. That includes ilm surf, ilm nahu, or ilm aswat, and we learn about the. We already know some. Uh, uh, we have some introduction about these ulum. We know that what are these in himself. We learn about the words itself, the word itself. The first time is, of course, is to study the letters. That is ilm aswat, this in which we learn about the makharij and in we learn how the words are pronounced, the tajweed, the letters, the makharij, everything we learn in ilm aswat. And the second is ilm sarf, in which we learn about the words. We learn about the whole word, how they are formed, what are their which family they belong to, which bab they belong to. And Nahu we learn Nahu is all about kalam. It's all about the sentences, how the sentences are structured, how what is the position of the words in a sentence, that we all learn in the science of there are different sciences, so we learn this sentences in the science of al-Nahu. We know that, alhamdulillah. So in this uh, the Muallif is trying to tell us about the definition of the kalam, that what is the kalam. So, as I told you, that in Nahu, we will study about the kalam, that what is a kalam, and according to grammarians, the tarif of or the had of the kalam. Had means what is. Had is the definition. The definition of the kalam is that it is a useful word. It is a useful word. So, the complete speech. It is the most accurate and the shortest version of definition of the kalam to explain. According to like many say that whatever we are saying, even if it is not understandable, it is a speech. But according to the grammarian, the word that is useful, that is only speech. And not the words that are not understandable, they don't consider it a complete speech. So, uh, the most accurate and the short version of definition is that it should be a useful word. That is a kalam. And after that, Haddul Kalami Ma Fadal Mustame. So, what is the definition according to the scholars of the Nahu? That it should be a useful word. The Nahu. Here, Nahu is not il Nahu, but here, Nahu means the example. So, now the examples are given for the definition of the speech, or for the kalam, that sa'a Zaidun wa Amrun muttabi. So here the it's sa'a Zaidun is jumla fa'liya, and then Amrun muttabi is jumla ismiya, where Amrun is mubtada and muttabi is khabar. And inshallah, most of the topics will be covered in detail when the topic will come for Mubtada and Khabar, and those topics which we are not going to cover in it, because I have already covered in my Nahu section, or some there is a section for surface studies. So the details are given, or the explanations are mostly covered in those surf and Nahu sections. So you can go back and check those videos for detailed explanations of the topics that we are not covering here, uh, inshallah. So then حد الكلام مع أفعال المستمع له سعى زيد وأمر متبع. So here the example of kalam, a complete sentence is given that Zaid walked or sought and other followed him. A complete sensible sentence. Jumla mufida. This is a jumla mufid. It is a complete useful sentence, or it is a complete word sentence that is making a sense that sa'a zaidun wa amrun muttabi. As I already mentioned, that according to the scholars, uh, a complete a useful word or useful sentence is what we call a speech. The words or sentences that are not making any sense, the grammars don't consider that consider it to be a useful uh, speech, and they do not consider it even a speech. So the definition of a speech is, according to them, is a useful sentence that is making a a sensible sentence that is making some sense. So here, زيد وأمر متبع. So جملة فعلية, and then this واو and there here it is a جملة اسمية, and this is مبتدأ and this is a خبر. الحمد لله. Then ونوع الذي عليه يبنى اسم وفعل ثم حرف معنى. So the kinds of speech are, or we use them parts to make a speech, and or we can say that our speech is built on yubna, alayhi yubna. Now allazi means kalam, who is the kalam. So the parts of speech on which it is built is, we already know, and we have covered this thing, ismun wa fa'lun wa harfun. You can see the explanation in the Nahu section. Ismun wa fa'lun summa harfu wa ma'na. So he's telling us that the parts of speech on which it is built is ism, fa'l, and her. Okay, so according to Ajrumiya, the definition of the kalam is that it is the compound word that is useful in the situation, and it has three types: a noun, a verb, and a letter. It is something useful which is conveying a complete meaning to the communication. It can be a sign, writing, or a word. But as it is mentioned already, that it is not according to the grammarian. According to the grammarian, it cannot be a sign, it cannot be a uh, 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 insignificant word. The word which is making full sense is what they call useful speech. So the here Nausa Zaidun Amrun Muttabe. So why we are not pronouncing it uh, Amrun Umar? It is Amrun, and what is making it different? See here, why there is a wow here in the name Amr, and not in the Umar. In Umar, when we write Umar, we do not put a wow, but in Amr we are putting a wow. So they both have the same letters, the desert, Ayn, Mim, and Ra, and we know that in the times of Arabs, when there was no Arab on the letters, like no Dama, Fatha or Kasra written on the words, and because these both words or these both names were spelled the same way, it really confused the Arabs. So while writing Umar, so people didn't know whether the name Umar or Amar was intended, and to solve that issue, a wow was added to Amr, and that is how it became Amrun. Like this. That's how it is. A wow is added on the word Amr. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, these are the examples for the ism, fa'il, and harf, and We know that an ism is a name of anything. Zaid, Fatima, Kitab, Fail, means an action, a type of action. Kataba, yazhab, ukhruj, like this. And harf, min, ila, and wa, ala. So here they are, these are all the harf of jar, and these are all types of ism, fail, and harf. So these are the exam al kalam, and like this is the harf ghaya, and here some other words are used, letters are used as well. We are going to study. We have already covered this part in Nahu session, but we will also repeat these as well. So al-kalima has three types: al-ism, al-fi'l, and al-harf. And this is these are the definitions for ism, fi'l, and harf. Ism, as mentioned, it can be a noun, place, thing, or idea, an adverb, adjective, pronoun, anything that is that has a name is a noun. And fail is gives the meaning of action in relation to tenses, and a word that is stuck in time, and it has three types: madi, mudare, and this fail is also the explanation is also covered in the fail section of Nahu part. And harf, it is not it doesn't convey any meaning or uh, until it is added with noun or a fi'l. So here are some uh, examples for the harf. Uh, there are two types of harf mabni and harf mana. Harf mabni are those words we build the words or those letters from which we build the words. And alif, ba, ta, sa, jim, ha, these are all the letters from which we make our words. And harf mana are the words like min, ala, kaf, and lam. Like min is the harf bidaya. They all these all words or have letters, harf mana, they give meaning to the sentences. So there are two types of harf as well. Okay, so now we are done with the with our Bab al-Kalam. حد الكلام ما أفاد المستمع له سعى زيد وأمر متبع ونوعه الذي عليه يبنى اسم وفعل ثم حرف المعنى. That was the uh, Al-Kalam, Bab al-Kalam. And now we know that al-Kalam is a useful speech, and it has three types: ism, fa'l, and harf. And we learn about the examples for ism, fa'l, and harf as well. And the explanation, as I mentioned, is done in the Nahu section. Now we are starting with our Bab al-Ism. إن شاء الله. فالاسم ما يدخله من وإلى أو كان مجرورا بحتى وعلى. مثاله زيد وخيل وغنم وزعم أنت والذي ومن كم. So here فالاسم ما يدخله من وإلى. So the sign of an ism, we are learning about them. فالاسم ما يدخله من وإلى. So in the ism, من وإلى can enter. So the sign of an ism is a harf of jar, min, or ila can enter or be attached with it. So few signs of ism are it can be with al, can have the need, and like we will see the signs for isms that how they can be recognized. And an ism can be majroor if it's mudaf ilayhi, etc. Like this, like these. So we can say that uh, أو كان مجرورا بحتى وإلى or also حتى and إلى are حرف of jar and an ism will be called مجرور with the attachment of these حرف these حروف. So ism when the حرف of jar من إلى or حتى وإلى are entered they uh, that word we can say that that word is an ism. مثاله زيد وخيل وغنم. Zaid is a name, as you know that name of a person. وخيل is a horse. وغنم is the sheep. And وزع وأنت والذي ومكان. So these are اسم إشارة and اسم موصول. Uh, Welcome. So these are all ism ishara. We have already done the explanation in the who part. And al-lazi ism mawsool. The details for these are also the explanation is also explained in the Nahu study session. So you can check that from you can revise or review these ism mawsool or ism ishara from the Nuhu session. So here for Bab al-Ism, the signs of Ism, Alamat Ism, we'll see what are the Alamat Ism. So Alamat or Ism are when Tanween can enter Ism. If we can put Tanween on a word that will be a Ism. Majroor is straight, a word that a jar can, harf of jar can enter, that will be a ism. Dukhul al, an ism can be recognized from al. If a word is starting with al, that will be a ism. Dukhul harf jar al kalima, that is the same. Harf of jar can enter. What is the difference between al jar and dukhul harf jar? That is, jar can be in the majroor state not because of harf of jar, because this is showing that it is actually stating the sim which are in the mudafili state, because it will not have a harf of jar before it. So the whole harf jar kalima, when harf of jar will enter in a word or in a kalima, so that kalima that will be a isim. So these are the signs of an isim from which we can understand that a word is an isim. Okay. Most of the times, the words starting with letter meme in Quran are mostly those words are also that is also not 100%, but it can be a sign of an ism. Al words that have al in the beginning, tanween in the end. Those are the words in the nakira form. The marbuta is also a sign of ism that can be for the female words and for words, male words, like the names like Talha is a word that is a name of a male person, but it ends with Tama Buta. And harf of jar, when harf of jar can enter a word, that means that word is is an ism. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, we have done two Bab today, Bab al Kalam and Bab Ism, and inshallah we will start our Bab al Fail in next class. I can show you uh, in the book that how we are. Uh, I'll show you the book. Mm, Okay, let me open the book. Let me share it with you. Okay, so here you can see we are done with first this mukaddima, and then we did Bab al-Kalam, and then we did Bab Ism, and now inshallah tomorrow we'll start Bab al-Fail. Uh, Not much detail of Kalam and Ism is done today. I just went through them quickly because these are some really basic, extremely basic topics for those who have already learned much of the Arabic, and our main purpose here is to get familiar with the Arabic text. That's why we didn't go in detail for Bab Kalam and Bab Isim because they are very basic topics of Arabic language. The main purpose was to read the text and to to get familiar with the abiyat and to see what the poet has written about Kalam and Ism in his poetry, in his poem. So, Alhamdulillah, we are done with these two Bab today, Bab Kalam and Bab Ism, inshallah. When we'll start fail, we are going to do it in detail, and inshallah we will do the rules, and we'll go through the fail in detail, inshallah. So after that we'll start with harf and likewise. So alhamdulillah, these we are done with Bab and Kalam and Ism. So see you all tomorrow, inshallah, with new Bab fair. So, Alhamdulillah, see you all tomorrow. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.